Well, amidst the radical left's efforts to undermine his presidency, Mr. Trump has pushed forward in hopes of soon securing a trade deal with China. The Chinese today claiming both sides have agreed to roll back tariffs as part of a Phase 1 trade agreement. Tonight, White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow told Bloomberg News, quote, "If there's a Phase 1 trade deal, there are going to be tariff agreements and concessions," said he. Well, joining us to try to make some sense out of what is going on, Peter Navarro, Assistant to the President, Director of Trade and Industrial Policy, the Director of the White House National Trade Council. Peter, great to have you with us.
How are you doing, Lou?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? We'll start with that.
I'm doing great, other than the impeachment jackals and the circus that prevents passing USMCA, which is really important for this country. Life's peachy in the swamp.
Yeah, well, and you're doing well, and you're more than giving as good as you get, so that's great. And thanks for being here. Let's start with the Kudlow comment, which I'm frankly surprised is coming from Kudlow, not the trade representative, not Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, but nonetheless, he's holding forth on concessions and whether there will be a deal. We're hearing a lot of comment from obviously Chinese sources about a Phase 1 agreement, and they're speaking as if there's great certainty about it, a rollback of tariffs, including current tariffs as well as the December 15th imposition of further tariffs.
So Lou, I'm not sure. I didn't read that story. I don't know what Larry said, but I did talk to Larry today. Here's what I know, Lou. There is no agreement at this time to remove any of the existing tariffs as a condition of the Phase 1 deal. And the only person who can make that decision is President Donald J. Trump. And it's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. And now it's seemingly more complicated, because we are watching U.S. news organizations reporting the Chinese view in statements without response from the White House until, by the way, just until you said what you did and Larry Kudlow had said what he did just moments ago, apparently. The idea that we are watching news organizations reported from sort of the other side, while the trade representative, Robert Lighthizer, wants his team to maintain silence, apparently. Is that true?
Yeah,
during
sure,
the
Lou.
Negotiations.
I
Which,
mean,
by the way, there's nothing unique about that.
Sure.
Most negotiators want precisely that.
Yeah, exactly. I quote the Lighthizer rule: all negotiation behind closed doors. The Navarro rule is any anonymous sources basically are fake news designed to part a fool from his money. And here we have what's interesting. I heard somebody joke today that negotiations with the Chinese don't really begin until you have a handshake deal. And that's, I think, maybe what's going on here. And there's the spectacle of the Chinese propaganda press putting out information like that. They're just negotiating in public, trying to push us in a direction. But the president makes these decisions, and
thank God he makes those decisions.
Indeed, and I'm bullish. We're going to have a deal, a Phase 1 deal with the Chinese. It's on the president's terms. But it's December 15th looms, Lou. That's when the next tranche of tariffs would go on. And the reason why the Chinese are complaining about tariffs is because they're working beautifully.
This is all well and good, but as you well know, we have a problem with the Chinese sources because that is, frankly, a foreign government. Some news organizations forget that, trying to have their way in our society, in our markets, in our economy. And the influence of those folks representing the Chinese view could be carrying a disinformation campaign, misinformation. So what I'd like to do is to get a clear understanding. The Chinese have never kept a deal, not since the World Trade Organization forward to the most recent attempt at a deal in May.
That is true, Lou.
There's literally no exception. It's a flat statement of reality. It is extraordinary to see this drumbeat that has built up on Wall Street, the usual K Street suspects, and Washington swamp suspects, it is also very important for us to understand how unlikely this is and what odds this president has taken on to try to reach a deal. First of all, he's blown up the free trade orthodoxy and showed it to be the hollow falsehood that it is. You don't hear, as a result of this president, over the course of 3 years, he has driven the expression free trade out of the public arena because there is no defense for it. There is only a defense for reciprocal, balanced trade, which is the essence of his trade policy, and I know yours.
Lou, I think one of the many things this president will be remembered for historically is the fact that he has forever changed the narrative and understanding about China. Basically, it's an authoritarian country, it's a communist country, and it practices what I call the 7 deadly sins with its state capitalist model. And Americans support this president in his stand on China, as do people on Capitol Hill. Good for the president. Good for America.
And good for you and all who are serving the president and this nation so well. Thanks, Peter. Good to have you with us.
Bye-bye.
Peter Navarro.